Hidden Teachings of the Tao Te Ching, Phase 2, The Path of Practice. Phase 1 opened our eyes to awareness. Phase 2 teaches us to live in that awareness. Hello everyone. In our last talk, we learned that the Tao Te Ching is not only a philosophical treasure, but also a secret book of inner cultivation, a living manual of Taoist spiritual practice. We explored the four-phase path of Taoist cultivation hidden within the Tao Te Ching, and revealed in my new book, Awaken the Tao, which is now available on Amazon. Our last talk focused especially on Phase 1, the foundation of awareness, how Laozi invites us to see life with fresh eyes, to return to simplicity and stillness, and to rediscover the effortless harmony of the Tao. We also discovered that Taoist cultivation is a profoundly human-centered endeavor, yet one deeply rooted in the rhythms of the natural world. Its foundation lies in the dual cultivation of innate nature, Jing, and the vital current of life that shapes our destiny, Ming. A journey that seeks to align the microcosm of the individual with the vast macrocosm of heaven and earth. But awareness, though essential, is only the beginning. It's like seeing a mountain for the first time. Now we must climb it. Once we have seen, we must live what we have seen. And this brings us to Phase 2, the path of practice, the art of weaving Taoist wisdom into the fabric of everyday life. This talk dives into the heart of Taoist practice, the real essence of cultivation, and it can be especially valuable for those who've already begun their journey. I invite you to stay with me until the very end, and if what you hear resonates or helps you in your practice, please share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. 1. From knowing to being. A lot of people know the Tao in words, through books, ideas, and intellectual understanding. They can quote the lines, admire the wisdom, even explain the philosophy. But real cultivation begins when you take those ideas off the page and into your life. It's not about how much you know, it's about how much you live. When you practice what you've learned, when you experience the Tao directly, that's when knowledge turns into wisdom. Laozi tells us,
知者不言，言者不知.
Chapter 56. He who knows does not speak, he who speaks does not know. True knowing is not intellectual, it's embodied. When awareness ripens, words fall away and life itself becomes the teaching. Every breath, every step, every act becomes a form of silent practice. In this phase, cultivation moves from the head to the heart, from thought to direct experience. We begin to live as the Tao, spontaneous, natural, and at ease. 2. The practice of stillness.
静.
Stillness is the doorway to true cultivation, the point where philosophy becomes practice, and the seeker begins to see with the heart instead of the mind. In Taoism,
静.
stillness carries a unique meaning. It is the art of inner quietude, the essential practice to which all other methods ultimately return. When the mind grows still, the spirit begins to move. When desire fades, the Tao quietly reveals itself. This stillness isn't about escaping the world or forcing the mind into silence. It's about relaxing so deeply that the natural harmony of life can rise to the surface on its own. As Laozi said,
致虚极，守静笃.
Chapter 16. Attain utmost emptiness, maintain perfect stillness. In that stillness, we begin to sense the subtle rhythm behind all things, the living pulse of the Tao itself. Every genuine practice, whether breath work, meditation, qigong, or mindful walking, is simply a way of returning to this calm awareness, where being and the Tao become one. But how do we live stillness in a noisy world? It's not about hiding in a cave or cutting off the senses. True stillness is living stillness, the calm that remains even as life moves. It is the eye of the storm, quiet, awake, and centered. The Taoist cultivator doesn't train by rejecting movement, but by discovering silence within movement, so that whether walking, working, or speaking, there is always a steady current of peace beneath it all. This is how stillness becomes strength. 3. The practice of presence.
主
Once stillness is established, the next step is to abide in it, to remain centered, awake, and fully present in every moment. This is the practice of
主
to be the master within rather than being pulled by thoughts, emotions, or external change. Presence means resting in awareness without clinging to what arises. It is not about controlling the mind, but about being here completely, feeling, seeing, and responding without leaving a trace of ego or tension behind. When the spirit remains present, the heart stays calm, and every movement becomes natural and unforced. In this state, the cultivator acts yet does not attach, sees yet does not grasp, moves yet remains still within. Presence turns ordinary moments into practice. Every breath, every step, every encounter becomes a reflection of the Tao. Laozi reminds us.
善行无辙迹，善言无瑕谪。
Chapter 27. The best traveler leaves no trace. The best speaker leaves no flaw. In modern life, presence is our greatest cultivation ground. Every conversation, every emotion, every challenge becomes an opportunity to practice wu-wei, action without force, engagement without grasping. When we are fully present, life flows through us rather than around us. We begin to sense the Tao in motion, in the turning of a leaf, the rhythm of the breath, the silence between words. 4. The balance of yin and yang. The secret to remaining centered, awake, and fully present in every moment lies in continually returning to balance. The balance of yin and yang. This, in fact, is the greatest challenge many practitioners face once they reach this stage. In Taoist cultivation, this balance is not abstract. It is lived and felt. It is the dynamic harmony between activity and rest, giving and receiving, effort and ease. Even after establishing stillness
见
and presence,
主
the challenge is to avoid leaning too far in any direction, to move without forcing, to act without attachment, to rest without dullness. When yin and yang are balanced within, life flows naturally. Our actions become effortless, our awareness clear, and our spirit stable, allowing us to meet every moment fully without being swept away by extremes. This is the heart of Phase 2, transforming insight into lived experience, where Taoist principles guide every breath, step, and gesture. As Laozi reminds us in Chapter 40,
反者道之动，弱者道之用。
reversal is the movement of the Tao, yielding is the function of the Tao. Cultivation is not about always being calm, nor about always being active. It is about flowing gracefully between the two, guided by inner awareness. When your energy scatters outward, return to stillness. When stagnation builds within, allow movement to renew you. This rhythm of yin and yang is not just a principle. It is the living breath of the Tao itself. 5. Living with wu-wei, effortless action. You've all heard of wu-wei and perhaps even the lofty ideal of
无为而无不为。
achieving everything by doing nothing. It sounds like a philosophical paradox, a concept just out of reach. But what if it's not abstract at all? What if it is the most natural state of being, a reality that emerges not from striving, but from profound inner cultivation? Here's the secret. Wu-wei is not a technique you do, it is a state you inhabit. It is the flowering of a process that begins with stillness, quieting the mind's relentless chatter. From this stillness arises true presence, an unwavering attention to the present moment, free from the burdens of the past and anxieties of the future. Abiding in this presence, you naturally begin to embody the balance of yin and yang. You learn the dance of action and non-action, exertion and surrender, speaking and listening. You are no longer fighting the current of life but sensing its flow. This is the practical essence of wu-wei. It is moving through your day without internal friction, responding to challenges not from reactive panic, but from deep, intuitive knowing, acting with full engagement, yet without the tension of forcing an outcome. It is the artist lost in the brushstroke, the athlete in the zone, the leader who inspires without dictating. In this harmonized state, a profound shift occurs. Your personal will aligns with the larger movement of life, the Tao. Your actions become effortless, precise, and perfectly timed, not because you calculated them, but because they arise from a unified whole. This is the ultimate expression of
无为而无不为.
It is not that you sit idly and the universe serves you. It is that, by being utterly and completely aligned, still, present, and balanced, the Tao acts through you. Your actions are no longer merely your own. They become an expression of the natural order itself. And in that, nothing is left undone. As Laozi says in chapter 37,
无为而无不为.
Through non-action, nothing is left undone. This is the secret of natural power. When your actions arise from stillness, they are no longer driven by fear or desire. They flow naturally, effectively, gracefully. The sage or the awakened one acts without self-centered intent, and therefore accomplishes what others cannot. This is not magic, it is alignment. To live by wu-wei is to trust the Tao enough to let go of control. Then your life begins to unfold with an ease that feels both mysterious and utterly natural. 6. Nourishing the inner harmony. To sustain the effortless state of wu-wei, the key lies in constantly nourishing the inner harmony. This harmony is both psychological and physiological, a gentle alignment of mind, body, and energy. As Laozi writes in chapter 10,
专气之柔，能因而乎.
Can you concentrate your vital energy and become supple like a newborn? This verse points to the subtle internal work at the heart of Taoist practice, refining your qi, softening rigidity, and returning to your natural vitality. When the mind is calm, the breath becomes deep and smooth. When we rest fully in presence, energy gathers and flows effortlessly. This is how awareness nourishes life, how Jing, our innate nature, and Ming, our vital energy, gradually harmonize, creating the fertile ground for effortless action, balance, and the deeper stages of cultivation. 7. The inner measure of progress. The 6 practices we've explored reveal a path, a layered, step-by-step journey of Taoist cultivation. Yet as a practitioner you may wonder, how do you truly know if you are progressing? In the world of Tao, progress is not measured by extraordinary visions, spiritual achievements, or outward signs of mastery. It is felt in the quiet hum of your own being. It is measured by how lightly you walk upon the earth, how softly your words land, and how deeply you can listen to the silence between heartbeats. This inner gauge is beautifully captured by Laozi.
知足不如，知止不殆.
Knowing contentment avoids disgrace. Knowing when to stop avoids danger. Advancement on this path is not an ascent to a peak, but a return to the root. It is felt as a deepening humility that needs no recognition, a gentler presence that demands no space, and a series of subtle, almost imperceptible releases. The moment you stop chasing the Tao is the moment you feel it flowing within you, not as a distant ideal but as your own natural rhythm. The truest signs of progress are intimate and effortless. The quieting of your inner storms, the harmony of your responses, and the increasing ease with which life moves through you. Ultimately, the goal of Taoist cultivation is to return to the state of the uncarved block, to the pure, spontaneous, whole essence you were before the world layered complexity upon you. To recover the original mind, the natural state of being. To return to the source, to live in naturalness and wholeness. This is the highest aim of the Taoist path.
复归因儿，返璞归真。
Summary, Phase 2, the path of practice. Phase 1 opened our eyes to awareness. Phase 2 teaches us to live in that awareness. The transformation of this phase is from knowing to embodying, from awareness to stillness in motion, from seeking harmony to being harmony. This is where the Tao ceases to be theory and becomes your way of life, where every moment is a chance to return to balance, presence, and flow. In our next talk, we'll enter Phase 3, deepening the experience, how to meet life's paradoxes with inner clarity and transform challenges into wisdom. If what we explored today resonates with you, I invite you to continue this journey in my book Awaken the Tao, where each phase is explored in full depth, not as abstract philosophy, but as a living path of cultivation. The link is in the comments. Until next time, may you walk gently, breathe deeply, and let the Tao reveal itself in all that you do.